an age of impossible scales. 150 million years ago, the Jurassic world is ruled by true titans. Towering sauropods move like walking mountains, shaking the very earth with each colossal step. But the future of the dinosaur dynasty is not being written by these giants. It is being forged in their shadows. Down here, amidst the ferns and cycads, life is lived at a different, frantic pace. This is the world of the small coelurosaurs, ancestors on the long road to birds. For this hunter of insects and tiny lizards, survival is a precarious, moment-to-moment struggle. It occupies a dangerous niche, carved out by necessity, too small to challenge the titans. Its existence is a high-stakes gamble against starvation and the ever-present threat of predation. Every sense is honed for opportunity, but more importantly, for the slightest hint of danger. Always on alert. A rustle in the undergrowth. Not the wind, not prey. A larger, faster shadow. The explosive rush of an ornitholestes. In this brutal realm, pure speed is the only real defense against a slightly bigger, hungrier cousin. A desperate, twisting chase. A blur of frantic motion. Survival for another hour. But raw speed is not enough. To conquer new challenges, to dominate new environments, evolution must innovate. And on the skin of these small, agile theropods, a quiet revolution is taking place. We see not the familiar, naked reptilian scale of their giant relatives. It is a new integument, something that will change the course of life on Earth. A strange, new covering. These are the very first protofeathers, simple and exquisitely fine hair-like filaments. Remarkable fossils from China, like those of Sinosauropteryx, preserve them in breathtaking detail. Their primary function was not for flight, but for something far more fundamental: thermoregulation. This downy coat trapped precious body heat, fueling the high metabolism of a warm-blooded animal. It was the crucial insulation required to power an active, intelligent, and relentlessly agile predator. An internal furnace, allowing it to thrive when the colder nights descended on the land. This was a key advantage over its cold-blooded contemporaries, a significant evolutionary leap. An engine for success. A simple coat of down. But evolution is the ultimate opportunist, rarely settling for a single function. Stunning analysis of fossilized pigments reveals these filaments were colored, painting them in vibrant patterns. What began as insulation now becomes a billboard, a tool for communication. A new visual language. A brightly banded tail becomes a warning signal to a territorial rival. Or, perhaps, it is a beacon used in a complex courtship dance to attract a mate. Color and pattern are now weapons in the arsenal of survival and reproduction. What started as a simple biological solution for staying warm became the first vocabulary in the epic story of the feather. The first whisper of flight. The filament was just the beginning. Across the early Cretaceous, a structural explosion transforms the simple feather. A central shaft, the rachis, emerges, with interlocking barbs branching out from it. This is the pennaceous feather, a planar, aerodynamic surface of remarkable strength and lightness. Creatures like Caudipteryx now sport elaborate fans of these advanced feathers on their arms and tails. They are still utterly incapable of flight, so this intricate engineering serves a different master: the pressure of perception. This new anatomical toolkit gives rise to a dramatic and vibrant social theater. A male oviraptorosaur approaches a female. He raises his arms, flashing the broad, colorful feathers that now adorn them. A calculated performance. His display is a complex language, speaking of his genetic fitness, his health, his territorial prowess. Every posture, every flick of his tail fan, is a critical part of the negotiation. The selection of a mate now depends not just on strength, but on the power of the spectacle. Survival of the most vivid. A visual arms race. For a century, the true colors of this world were lost to us, left only to imagination. But science can now decode the messages hidden within the fossils themselves. Microscopic fossilized pigment sacs, called melanosomes, reveal the actual palette of the past. Their shape and arrangement are a direct key to the animal's original coloration. We can now see the gingery stripes of Sinosauropteryx with absolute certainty, and the spectacular crow-like iridescent sheen that adorned the feathers of Microraptor. The fossil record was not black and white. It was a world painted in shimmering, complex color, used for camouflage, warning, and attraction. Feathers became living canvases, but they held another secret. The stage for the next great leap is not the forest floor, but the canopy above. Here, small, four-winged dinosaurs like Onchornis scrambled through the branches. These display structures, these broad surfaces on their limbs, suddenly present a new opportunity. A predator approaches from below. The only escape is a desperate leap to the safety of a neighboring tree. And as it jumps, it spreads its feathered arms, instinctively catching the air. A fall transformed. This is not flight. It is something far more fundamental, the beginning of a conversation with the wind. The feathers, evolved for display, have been co-opted or exapted for a new aerodynamic purpose. A controlled, shallow descent. With long, asymmetrical feathers on its arms and its legs, Microraptor is a true glider. It could steer, brake, and maneuver through the cluttered Jurassic forest with astonishing agility. From branch to branch, it has unlocked a new way to traverse its world, saving energy and avoiding danger. It has tasted the air. This newfound ability to glide confers an enormous evolutionary advantage. It allows these small dinosaurs to efficiently exploit the vast, untapped resources of the arboreal world. Insects, lizards, and small mammals hidden in the high canopy are now within reach. A whole new ecology opens. A vertical superhighway. It is also a revolutionary method of escape, leaving earthbound predators far behind. Natural selection now begins to fiercely favor any mutation that improves this aerial ability. Longer feathers, stronger arm muscles, a lighter skeleton. The passive act of falling gracefully is on the verge of becoming something far more radical. The stage is now set for the final, most audacious evolutionary step of all: to conquer the sky itself. A fossil etched in stone. In the fine-grained Solnhofen limestone of 19th century Bavaria, a stunning secret was unearthed. Preserved here was the perfect silhouette of a creature that, by all logic, should not exist. It was named Archaeopteryx lithographica, the ancient wing from the printing stone. It was a Rosetta Stone of evolution, a single specimen that proved the deep ancestral link between reptiles and birds. This was Darwin's theory made manifest, a perfect snapshot of evolution in action. A dinosaur with wings. A beautiful, confusing mosaic. At first glance, the skeleton is unmistakably that of a small theropod dinosaur. A jaw filled with sharp teeth, not a bite, 3 clawed fingers on each hand, and a long, bony tail, a feature utterly alien to any bird alive today. But draped upon this reptilian chassis was an undeniably avian miracle: flight feathers. Crucially, the wing feathers are asymmetrical, with a shorter leading edge and a longer trailing edge. This asymmetry is the unmistakable signature of an airfoil, engineered by natural selection to generate aerodynamic lift. The tool for flight was ready. The leap is not enough. Gliding is not mastery. To truly conquer the air requires a biological revolution: the generation of thrust. Archaeopteryx's skeleton reveals the innovations that made this incredible leap possible. A fused collarbone, the furcula or wishbone, acted as a spring-like brace for powerful flight muscles. The engine takes shape. This is the moment of truth, the first true powered flapping downstroke against the air. It defies gravity. It breaks the bonds of Earth. Yet, this was not the elegant, soaring flight of a modern bird of prey. This was flight in its infancy, clumsy, demanding, and likely sustained for only short, frantic bursts. Its skeleton lacked a deep, keeled sternum, the vital anchor for the massive flight muscles seen today. Takeoffs were likely desperate scrambles from trees, not powerful launches from the ground. It was a pioneer, the first draft of the avian blueprint, operating at the very limit of its physical capabilities. But in achieving powered flight, even for a moment, it had changed the rules of life on Earth. A new kingdom had been claimed. The skies were not empty. For millions of years, the first birds shared the air with countless other evolutionary experiments. The Cretaceous world was filled with diverse avian forms, like the Enantiomnetus, or opposite birds. They were successful, widespread, but their time was running out. An appointment with extinction. 66 million years ago, a rock 6 miles wide struck the planet with unimaginable force. It was a global cataclysm that would wipe the slate of life on Earth almost entirely clean. The end of an era. The impact plunged the world into a dark, freezing winter that lasted for years. Forests burned, food chains collapsed, and the great non-avian dinosaurs vanished forever. Yet, in the bleak desolation, a few lineages of the true birds clung to existence. How did they survive? 3 key advantages. Their small size meant they needed far less food to survive the lean times. Their ability to fly allowed them to travel vast distances, seeking out rare pockets of sanctuary. And most importantly, many had developed a toothless beak, perfect for cracking open the last reliable food source: seeds. The underground larder. The darkness finally lifted. As sunlight returned to a changed world, the survivors found a planet emptied of titans. The ecological niches, once dominated by their giant cousins and the pterosaurs, were now vacant. It was an opportunity of unprecedented scale, triggering an explosive burst of evolution. A second great radiation. From a handful of survivors, a new dynasty of dinosaurs would rise to conquer the globe. They became the hunters of the plains, the swimmers of the oceans, the singers in the trees. They diversified into more than 10,000 species, filling every habitat imaginable. A legacy reborn from fire. They inherited the Earth. So, where are these triumphant dinosaurs today? The inheritors of this incredible saga? They are all around us. Every bird you have ever seen, from a hummingbird to an ostrich, is a living, breathing dinosaur. The wishbone in your holiday turkey is the furcula that powered the first flight strokes. The scaly foot of a cassowary is a direct echo of its theropod ancestors' lethal weaponry. The link is undeniable. Their hollow bones, their respiratory system, even the way they nurture their young in nests. These are not cases of parallel evolution. They are direct, unbroken inheritances from the Mesozoic. A lineage 150 million years long. The journey from a tiny, scurrying creature in the shadows of giants is complete. It was a transformation driven by the need for warmth, then the pressures of display. A structure evolved for one purpose was co-opted for another, until it achieved the impossible. The conquest of the air. The feather is their story. It allowed them to survive the apocalypse that claimed their kin. And it is the tool that allowed them to build the world anew in their own image. So, the next time you see a sparrow take flight from a city street, remember its ancestors. You are not just watching a bird, you are bearing witness to the defiant, unbroken legacy of the last of the dinosaurs. Their saga continues,